good morning or good afternoon or whenever I have you today. Before you guys get started on trying to present your speech and doing the practice with each other, we're first going to go through your manuscripts and we're going to mark them up. What we do is we mark them up with visual cues to help us, while we're reading our speech, to look up, make that eye contact, slow down, breathe, any of those things that might make you nervous. So I'm going to go over a couple of those visual cues and write them on here, and then you will have some time, about 5 or so minutes, to go through and mark up your speech for yourself. So the first visual cue that we have is for eye contact. I wonder if I write it on here, if it's going to be backwards for you. We'll see. It is. So eye contact is the first visual cue that we have. If eye contact is something that you struggle with, but you still want to make an attempt to look up, I wrote it backwards. The first thing that you can do is mark up your speech at places where you think it would be appropriate to look up. So maybe after the attention grabber, the first sentence, or maybe after your preview sentence, or maybe after every first sentence in each paragraph. So at the end of those sentences, I want you to draw a visual cue that will help you to remember to look up. So what I'm doing is drawing some of the most common cues that I've seen people use. Some people will use an arrow, say, hey, look up. So that arrow is telling them to look up. Or dots or X's, or this is my attempt at an eyeball, to look up. So eye contact is one of the first areas that we struggle with. So having these visual cues in your speech will help you along the way to remind you to look up. Also, if you look at the back of my room, I guess you can't really see them, but if you just look, there are some pictures of, I'm pretty sure it's mostly Danny DeVito and Nicolas Cage, because that's what my TAs liked. I don't know. So if you don't want to look at people, you can look at all of these pictures back here, and that way you're not having to make direct eye contact with everyone, but your head is still up, your voice is still being projected. So eye contact is the first main one that we do. The second one, let's see if I can write this backwards, would be things like pacing, yeah, go me. With pacing, this is going to include things like saying and and okay, and then we do this, and next we do this. But you're repeating that over and over again as like a space filler. Or with pacing, you're going to be a person who speaks way too quickly and you need to slow down. So a couple things that people have done is they will do the pause sign, kind of like a pause or a break. So you're going to be speaking, and this is where a natural break is going to occur. Or the reason why I have you guys double space your lines is so you can write down things in here. So, okay, my backwards writing is kind of not so great. Slow down, you can write in there, or you can write breathe, or you can write positive affirmations. You can do this, you got this, keep looking up, and everything else. So eye contact or pacing are the two ones that we're going to focus on this week. If these are two things that you struggle with, go ahead and mark up your speech. Even if you don't struggle with pacing, you can still write slow down, you got this, breathe throughout your speech. And once you get done with those, then we'll practice in front of the class. Practicing in front of the class, you guys will be in two groups today. One group will be up front, one group will be in the back. And all this is an opportunity for you to practice your speech in front of your peers, your classmates, and to time yourself. Now, if you don't have your materials here, especially if you're a food person, you're making a food, I want you to pretend, like mix it up, add things here and there, because that will get you a more realistic representation of your time. If you don't make the 3 minutes today with the food preparation, make sure you practice and time yourself when you're actually preparing the food to kind of get a better idea of where you fall. Otherwise, if you're not a food person and you're actually demonstrating a talent or an item here, or trying to think of some of the other ones, magic trick or something, you will probably reach your time limit of the 3 to 5 minutes. But I will be back tomorrow. I will see you then. and I'm excited to see your speeches. See ya!